All right, we'll start the September 10th Select Board meeting. We'll open with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okie dokie. Start with manifests.
I'll make a motion to approve the accounts payable manifest of September 10th, 2018, and the payroll manifest of September 11th, 2018.
Second.
All in favor? Okay.
That's all in one. Oops.
You're in a good mood.
I got a song stuck in my head from like the 1980s.
Showing your age. Okay. Boards and committees.
Planning Board, I do not believe has met since our last meeting.
Okay.
And this Wednesday night's meeting was just canceled.
Okay. Ben's not here.
Budget hasn't met.
Budget hasn't met. Anything else?
There's a master plan subcommittee starting up on Thursday.
Oh, okay. Did they get good,
Yeah, I think they got 2 citizens
Oh, good.
on it. and-
awesome,
Yeah, so
good, okay. All right, Chris?
Let's see, election day tomorrow, primary election. Polls are open from 8 to 7 here at the community center. Bring your ID. You've got your coverage set, facilities ready to go.
Good.
Should be,
Any issues setting up today?
no,
Good,
usual.
okay.
Usual.
Is the Russians involved?
Construction on Little River Road is going to start tomorrow. Our overlay and paving company had a gap in their schedule and jumped on that, so they're gonna be grinding and repaving that. Overlay on a few other roads will be a little bit later. This is the bigger chunk of the work, so. That was a bit of a surprise that it was happening so quickly, but great, we'll get it out of the way. The solar panels are up and running, as we said, and revisions, wondering if any of you would be willing to do a little ribbon cutting at some point. I can include you if you want to be in on the scheduling of it. It's obviously, it's tough to get a bunch of people together at the same time, so who wants in, and I
I
will.
don't mind doing it. You wanna
Yeah,
do
I'll-
it? We can all do it.
Okay.
I mean, if you, yeah.
Yeah, so if you can't make it, you can't make it, but it
Right.
will.
Right.
Okay.
It's to press the flesh, it'll be
Yeah,
good for
it's
them.
quick and,
Today?
we don't have
We don't have
one.
We don't
one
have
yet.
one yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I will include the 3 of you, and it'll be quick. It's, 45 minutes.
Will there be a really big pair of scissors?
Don't know. Perhaps a magnifying glass that'll burn the ribbon.
Burn the ribbon, that's what I was saying.
Or a really, really tiny one.
Okay. I think everything else I have tonight is covered later in the agenda, so.
Mention hazardous waste day, please,
Oh, yeah, when is that?
at 29th and Raymond.
29th. This is the one day a year where Nottingham residents can bring their household hazardous waste to the Raymond Public Works Facility. There's information on our website about it. It's posted at the, up the recycling center. Call with questions.
Was that the 29th of what month?
It's on the website, Steve.
September.
September.
Okay.
Is that it for you, Chris?
Yes.
Okay, I jumped over minutes. We didn't do minutes.
Oh. You're trying to rush us through.
I know.
Good thing you got it.
It's all the cappuccino that's in my veins still.
I didn't know if that was on purpose to give Tony time to.
No, it wasn't.
Do you want to take a couple minutes to read through?
Yeah, I'm actually more than halfway
Okay.
through already.
All right, we'll
so.
give you a couple minutes to finish.
And I think we delayed the July ones.
We did
because
last time.
You wanted to, you had some edits? Was,
Maybe
maybe you hadn't taken a
I
look
hadn't had a
at
chance to
them.
look at it.
That's what it was.
Yeah, but there's nothing there.
Sorry, just turning it off.
Dawn, while he's going through those, on the August 27th, line 60, the second half of that line, where it said there's an assumption that Raymond found the private road waiver and provided residents with enough of an access to homes on the private road. I don't know what the second half of that means.
Me neither.
Okay, well, we can't approve minutes if there's a comment in here, but an edit hasn't been made, unless we clarify and edit it, but.
Does it mean?
I think it was that, I think I said they probably fixed the road. It was probably, I would just strike it. I think it was, when I was talking about that, I think I said they probably fixed the road and felt it was, it was passable, something like that. We can just,
Okay, but the two thoughts don't go together because the private road waiver and the access to homes.
yeah, I don't know. We can strike
Okay,
it.
Take it out?
Yeah,
whole line.
yeah.
It was maybe that Raymond provided enough access from an emergency perspective?
No, because
to
the
their
first,
Raymond's
no,
home?
the first part of it says there was an assumption that Raymond found the private road waiver. That has nothing to do with the emergency situation.
Where is this?
Line 60 on 827.
Yeah, it's actually line 59 and 60. But, I mean, just, if we approve these minutes with the statement in there, I'm not sure what this means, what would you have done?
I can take that. No, I saw your question. I figured you would discuss it.
Okay,
And if you didn't, I
okay,
would have asked for
Okay.
clarification, but.
all right, okay.
Almost set on the 28th.
Okay, I'll take a motion.
Want to take it one at a time?
Sure, if you want to.
Yeah. I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from July 30th, 2018.
Second.
That should be as an amended.
As amended, thank you.
Second.
All in favor? Okay,
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of August 27th, 2018 as amended.
Second.
all in favor?
We're gonna strike that line, right?
Yeah, we'll just strike that line, so,
Yeah, 59 and 60.
so everything after subdivision in 59 and line 60.
That last sentence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All in favor? As amended,
Aye.
okay? August 28th.
I'll make a motion that we approve the August 28th, 2018 meeting minutes as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Did you abstain on them?
Okay.
You did?
That's one I should, yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty. Chris, building permits on private class 6 roads.
Okay, so your last meeting, you went through this, we made a couple of changes. Just the big one being section 3A, where we clarified that only building permits that create additional burdens on the road would be, this policy would only apply to those projects. The lesser projects would not need your approval. So that entire paragraph is new. Couple other minor things, one around the survey language on 5A. And that's really, yeah, you had nothing other, no other substantive changes that you wanted to see the last time you looked at this. So as far as I'm concerned, it's ready. We have had inquiry on another permit on a private road, so this would be the first, that one, if it does come in,
Yeah.
would be the first one this would apply to.
Chris, I apologize, I didn't catch this. Do we, do we not, like, give our policies a number, a sequence
No,
number?
we do that with ordinances, but we
Okay.
don't typically do it with policies.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any other questions or comments on this?
No, it looks like it covered everything that we had talked about in the meeting.
Do you need a motion from us,
Yep.
Chris? Okay.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the policy of the select board regarding the building permit applications on private and class 6 roads.
Second.
All in favor?
All right, if you want to sign that one, we'll have one for the master file. Is that okay? Yeah, it's whatever. Doesn't matter.
That was you, correct?
Yes.
Second. There was a vote, sorry,
To adopt.
to adopt.
Yep. Okay. NHMA policy contract.
So, we keep coming back to this, but there's little left to do. You've not raised any new things. We have guidance for whoever goes on how to vote on all but, I think, 2 items, so we can just pass on those. We just don't need to cast a ballot.
Yeah, that's what we did. I looked at 2016 and we abstained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It probably won't be make or break for it.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. So,
Fine.
you had expressed some potential interest in going. It's this Friday at 9 a.m. And I fully expected that interest to wane once the date got closer. But, so I've kept it clear on my calendar.
No, he's still interested, but.
Yeah, I think Friday's out for me.
Yeah, okay. So if you want me to go, you can designate me and sign a little thing, and I'll go and
Chris,
cast your vote.
We would like you to go and
I
cast
thought-
our
Have
votes.
fun.
Yeah.
I hope it's a good lunch.
It's pretty pedestrian, but it is, it is lunch, so.
Those initials?
New Hampshire Municipal Association.
What, New Hampshire what?
New Hampshire Municipal
Oh, okay,
Association.
thank you.
Does that need to be formal first for the motion?
No, they just have to send me with that card signed by Donna, and I will get my voting
Voter
card from them.
It won't be a year that you get out of that.
See if I get you one of those.
Anything else on that
Nope.
topic, Chris? This one I've been curious about, the Epping Pipeline Project.
Yeah, that one's at Charlene's request, and I did absolutely no homework once you asked me to put it on
Oh,
the agenda.
so I can
so,
speak to it, and we just pull, so I just happened to be reading the newspaper, and there is it was in Foster's, August 29th, it looks like. So in Epping, the Liberty Utilities Granite Bridge natural gas pipeline is going in between the Seacoast and Manchester to Stratham. And there is a 2 billion cubic foot storage tank that's going to be located in Epping. So my question was, this is still in the very beginning stages, and I guess they have to go through the same process that Northern Pass had to go through with the, is it the SEC?
Everything's, yes, same.
Yeah, committee. But, so my question to Chris is, should we send a letter to the town of Epping requesting that this be determined regional impact project, mainly because of first responders, and our town will probably be one that will be called upon if there's an accident for first responders. And so by classifying it as a regional impact, that authorizes the town of Nottingham to be able to have a voice in the project. So if you want, do you
Yeah,
find it?
I just brought it up, we're reading it.
There is an informational night, but that's being sponsored by the town of Epping. It's actually being sponsored by a group that we know of quite well, the New Hampshire Community Rights Network, to inform residents about how to exercise their rights. But so anyways, I think it's early in the process, but I think it would be, my thinking is it would be worthwhile to have Chris put together a letter, probably a combination of the planning board and the select board, saying we would like you to consider this a regional impact, and we can cite, because of emergency response, first responders. Or we can hold off until it gets closer, but I think it's something that we should watch.
So I guess I just don't, I don't know enough about this. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
I just don't understand.
Well, it was the first I've heard
Yeah.
of it. I
Yeah.
obviously hadn't been paying attention to I've heard about the pipeline, but I didn't realize there was one going from
Yeah.
Stratham but I guess it's going in an old gravel pit.
Yeah, it's in West Epping.
It's closer, it's off of 27-101 area.
101, yeah. You know where the Mary Blair, the dam is and stuff in West Epping? If you took 27, they got the bridge there.
Yep,
Well, if you took a left right there, and you get the West Epping Fire Station, there's Holt Road it's called, and it goes all the way to the end, and there's a big old pit there.
pit there, okay. Yeah, I did a satellite search, okay, and that's pretty much where it was, so. So I'm just putting it out there. We can look at it further, or we could send a simple letter for now.
So,
Natural gas, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
yeah,
natural gas.
yeah.
so what is it, like,
I don't know what,
Okay.
like 2 billion cubic foot
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
would mean, but
Yeah.
A very large explosion.
the select board in, the select board in Epping is concerned
Okay.
about it as well, so.
Okay,
And probably for a lot of the same, well, it says in the article, safety.
yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, the classification of regional impact, I think just, it gets us in the information pipeline, so if they designate it as such, we can't compel them to do it, they have to do that. Then we start getting formal notices. I think this all comes later in the process.
Yeah, it comes later in the process when it comes, but, I mean, yeah.
But as that regulatory process moves forward, there has to be some mechanism to hear from the other towns of where the regional impact is, so
Yeah.
it just forces that.
Okay,
There's no, my understanding is it doesn't come with any obligation on our part to do anything. We could just ignore it, as we do with cell towers in Candy
I
or
wouldn't doubt
whatever.
that it gets going, though, they might ask, surrounding towns to become interveners in some of the hearings and stuff,
Yeah.
okay,
probably, so.
okay.
Would we do that ourselves, or does it make
Usually,
sense to,
Usually they'd say, maybe Nottingham, Greenmont, Belmont.
Lee, Newmarket?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, could we do a joint letter with those other towns, or do we just send our own?
Well, we send one our own, but if there's hearings, someone would represent the group.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think it's premature to do?
No, there's no harm in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, why don't you draft one up and we'll look at it. I mean, there's no harm in doing it.
Right, there's no
Right.
harm.
Right.
And they could totally ignore us, but
And that's fine, but,
it doesn't hurt to ask.
yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Okay, that's cool.
Okay.
Coolio. All right, audit and DRA financial review.
Okay, we have our final audit. You may recall we switched firms this year. We kind of late in the game said we got to get somebody new to do this because we've been doing it with the same people forever. We have a draft in hand, and I thought somehow the board ought to have some communication with the auditor face to face. That's not something you've done routinely. Just as an oversight function, it would be good for you to have
Yeah, I think that would
FaceTime
be
with
good.
them because they're auditing our day-to-day work. So the question to you is, how do you want to do that? Do you want, I haven't given you the draft audit itself because I didn't want to prompt a whole bunch of questions before we had that lined up. So we can either ask them to come to one of these meetings and do it with all of you. We could do, if a couple of you want to dive into it and want to do something off-cycle and then come back to the group, we can do that during a weekday. I don't know what your pleasure is. It's not something we've done before.
You know what? I think it would be great to have them come to a meeting so that it can be done with the whole board, because I think the whole board could benefit by understanding that whole process.
It'd be a learning process.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great learning experience for the entire board.
Yeah, overall, it's fine. We have, things are presented differently. There's a couple things of substance that have changed. It's a lot longer, so just, there's a lot more to it than what we've been accustomed to.
Probably copy and paste and fill in the new numbers before.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah,
Yeah, very much so. I sent Donna a couple of notes about the little bit of text that we can throw in it to add comments, and I really didn't say much of anything, like we never really have. The audit is the auditor verifying your numbers, so you have an opportunity to plug in your 2 cents. In this particular year, there isn't a whole lot of excitement from an audit perspective. They came up with 3, I think it's 3 suggestions, things that they found in our internal processes that weren't as strong as they would have liked to see, which is exactly why you switch auditors, because you start to flag stuff like that. So we can touch on those, nothing really to worry about, just, I think 2 of them we've already done, and one of them is a process thing we're gonna do differently, so then we need to come up with a couple of new policies. All good things to have an auditor. Overall, I think the process went pretty smoothly, so I will schedule something with them on one of your upcoming meetings and get you everything well in advance of that so you can pour through it. And we might do a round of electronic questions that I could get for you ahead of time, so you can get right to the good stuff with them. Second to that, once we have that in hand, we can report to the state. The state wants to see audited financial numbers when they do all their review stuff before we go to tax rate setting. So we have taken that audit information, actually the auditor does most of this for us, given it to DRA, and that's the last piece we have to do on the town side for tax rate setting. You have to sign something that says, this is what we're submitting, and we're ready to do that, and I'm ready to ask you to do that, but you haven't actually seen the numbers yet, so if,
Right.
I don't think you're gonna be able to change any of the numbers when the time comes. I don't think there's anything to be changed, but, if you're willing to sign that now, we can give it to DRA and put it to bed, or if you wanna wait until you do face-to-face with the auditors, and then do that step, we can do that too. It's,
There's no time sensitivity.
well, this last piece for DRA does need to get done before tax rate setting. So not knowing when you'll be meeting with the auditor is the only hangup. I wouldn't wanna
When
drag
you-
it out too long.
What's the deadline for tax rate setting?
Well, this is due September 1st.
Oh,
Almost nobody hits that deadline, and
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. And we're still waiting on the school, so it's not gonna cost us anything in the short term. But if we can't get you and the auditors together, say 2 weeks from now, we are gonna be holding things up, so.
okay. So we'll shoot for meeting with them.
I'm gonna ask them, because we have a light meeting on the 24th, our next meeting.
Okay.
If, hopefully we can make that work with them.
Okay.
Okay.
I just, what is the name of the order?
Plodzik and Sanderson. All right, so that's all we have. I gave you some notes on email about tax rate setting. With this last piece, we'll be ready to go. And once the school side submits their stuff to DRA, we'll be able to really get into the weeds on setting a tax rate. So that's coming, but I think that's it for this agenda item,
Okay.
unless you have questions.
I think we're good. Anybody else have anything?
I just have the one thing.
Oh.
I don't know if you got, I sent it to
Yeah.
Chris. So, and I just found out about this today. So Antioch University has a program. It's called, it's the Environmental Studies Department. It's like an intern program that they do. And so they're looking for project descriptions for their spring semester, which is January to April 2019. But I thought it might be worth just putting in an application, and I said in the email to Chris, I'd be happy to take the lead on it, to maybe put together a project to monitor, to have them look at some of the road conditions in relation to invasive species and runoff. And what I was kind of thinking, and this was just kind of what came to me today, was just really quickly to inventory where they are, like GPS them and stuff, prioritize them based on kind of where some of the worst conditions are, which would help us then put together a plan and then maybe propose like a couple of different ways to address it. So something that we can use moving forward as we start to develop it, you know, kind of looking at the whole big roads project. So I was going to try to tap into Conscom, pass that by them today, because they might have some thoughts as far as the invasives and the runoff, but
So you're talking about specifically invasives?
I was thinking of the invasives and the runoff.
Okay.
challenges that we have. Because this is like, it's an environmental study department,
Okay.
so it'd have to be like something that's kind of applicable to their,
Yeah.
you know, their learnings and stuff.
Yep.
And so I think it's due September 28th, and our next meeting is the 24th. So if you guys are game, I could draft something up and get it to you to review before
Sure.
that meeting.
Sure.
Doesn't hurt, right? Throw our hat in the ring and see
That's
if we
fine.
get some
Yeah.
services.
Speaking of knotweed, I was thinking about that earlier this week too. I drive by it every morning, Route 4, 152 to Route 4, and it's rampant. It's like that 50s movie where those plants take over the planet. It's really bad, and it got me thinking, hey, you know, the state did scrape the highway before they paved it, you know, and all the root balls that they exposed and the chunks they dragged everywhere. I mean, I kind of think that it wouldn't be so bad had they followed their own rules, and you know what I mean?
They've been really good at spreading it.
Yeah, Deerfield is actively spraying right now to
Yeah.
kill that stuff. Like if you go up and down 43, there are long stretches of dead vegetation where they've been spraying it to knock it down. But whatever our plan is, I think the state should be on the hook for,
I think the state's probably doing that, because I think that they're doing it in different spots to see what's working and what's, because they're
It's
doing it in
43,
a
it's a
couple.
state road.
well, so is 152.
Yeah, and they're doing it in a couple spots on Route 4 as well. But, yeah, well, and the other thing is like, we just had mowing done on Freeman Hall. That they cut down knotweed, which is just gonna spread it. And so if we can start to like classify where it is and get it where
Right.
it is, it's not gonna, we don't need to be spreading it, so.
Okay,
All
that's
right.
fine, go ahead, I think
Yeah.
that's great.
All right,
Forgot one.
Which environmental, what department is it from?
I'll give you this.
Okay.
I forgot to put, I wrote to you about Lakeview, but I forgot to put it on the agenda.
No, oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right, I
yeah.
sent you a thing on it, so
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
stop, forget that.
Down the hall. You're in the wrong location.
What is this?
Board of Selectmen meeting. Conservation is down the
Oh,
hall.
okay. Yeah, so you just want to put a,
Chris, I was gonna take a ride down Lakeview Drive, this weekend, I didn't get to it. How long is that road?
It's about a mile if you start at the corner, where the river goes under, or the creek, river, whatever it is. That hard corner there, up and around the loop is about a mile.
Mile.
Yeah, just a shade over a mile.
Because I was thinking if we're gonna do it, why don't we just do it 15? The whole road's 15.
Yeah, well, that road would be a logical place to have a 15 because it's
yep,
not made for 25. It's a toboggan run, it's not a road.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can't, you're not allowed to post a class 5 road anything slower than 25 by state law. So, but you can post lower speeds for intersections. And where Lakeview has a fork, an intersection, we thought we'd post there
Okay.
at 15.
do you have to post on the other side of it where it's back up to 25?
That would be good form, but it's not, you know, if we just didn't get around to putting up that sign and we didn't have another sign, it might modify driver behavior a little bit for the whole route. You can't enforce it in, you know, a sense of ticket, later on, but if there was just one sign and you didn't see another sign until you left, then, you know, maybe it'll help. We know we don't have much of a chance at enforcement there. It's, you know, we're not gonna park cruisers out there on the last road in town for any period of time anyway, but we thought maybe the psychological impact of a 15 at that intersection might improve things throughout.
Does anybody have any concerns about that?
What were you talking about?
Lakeview?
Lakeview.
So are we talking about that hard right turn?
No,
when you first-
it's,
Or
you
where
go
the
around
loop,
that,
where the loop closes?
where the loop closes.
Okay.
That's the intersection, so
Okay.
that's the point at which you can, you know, it would be before that intersection that we'd post it somewhere, but,
Yeah.
um,
But isn't that hard right turn, isn't that also an intersection? Aren't those different road names on either side of the?
yeah, but I don't think that qualifies as an intersection. It's a road name change, but there's not two roads
Two roads
coming together.
Okay.
It's just a tough turn.
Yeah.
And that's not the, I mean, you can't do 25 around that corner, certainly. But,
Yeah. Well, it depends on
the-
how good you can drift.
yeah. The worst part of Lakeview is on the backside where the hills get real steep and
Yes.
the visibility gets real short, so.
Anybody, any objections to that?
It probably won't make a difference,
Yeah,
but
but can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that pursuant to New Hampshire RSA 265:63, that the select board hereby determines that the prima facie speed permitted through the intersection on Lakeview Drive is 15 miles per hour.
Second.
All in favor? All right, anything else, Chris?
Nothing for public. No.
Okay, so that concludes our public select board meeting for the evening. And we do have some non-public business to attend to.
you're welcome.
We will have no further public, meeting discussion after the non-public session, so we'll be adjourning the public, we'll be adjourning the overall meeting once we come out of non-public.
You need a motion.
Hmm?
You need a motion to go into non,
Oh, what letter?
A and
D.
Bye, Steve.
Aren't you gonna wish me something?
Happy
Thank you.
happy birthday. I don't think that was the one.
But in case you have to know, you have to write on your documents, it's me at 5,779. You want to write the correct thing?
That's your birthday?
No, so it's a Jewish New Year.
I know.
So I'm pretty sure your notes are correct. You write it.
Good night, Steve.
Did you make a motion?
Not yet. Thought we had to wait for the public to leave.
Go ahead.
All right, I'll make a motion that select board enter non-public session per RSA 91-A:3, section 2A and D.
Second.
Roll call.
Aye. Tyler Eaton.
I, Charlene Anderson.
I, Donna Davis.
Aye, Tony Dumas.